Lord of Jesus Christ, and welcome to St. Cyril Methodius Orthodox Church. I'm the pastor, Father Gregory Jensen. It's good to be with you again today. So it is Saturday, September 5th, the evening of the 13th Sunday after Pentecost, and we'll have Vespers here, in about 30 minutes or so. I'm looking forward to that. So I was wondering what I would talk to you today about, and I thought I would just share something that happened a little bit earlier today. We had a Zoom meeting for the seminary faculty this morning with Metropolitan Antoni and Vladika Daniel. And Vladika Daniel said, Father Gregory, how are you? And before I even had a chance to think about it, what came out of my mouth was, well, we haven't had RISE for a few days. The students are back on campus, but our COVID numbers are up. Went right to the bad stuff. A little bit embarrassed about that. But the fact of the matter is that we are hardwired, scientists tell us, for noticing the bad stuff. And you know what? In the jungle, that makes sense. You want to make sure that when you hear something rustling in the bush, that it's not a saber-toothed tiger. So it's really not to your advantage to think, oh, it's just a little bunny rabbit. Well, it might be, probably is, but it could be a saber-toothed tiger or some other predator that's going to kill you. So we are hardwired to notice what is wrong. And that's one of the reasons psychologists tell us we are as frequently stressed as we are, because we're always scanning the environment looking for the next saber-toothed tiger. Fact of the matter is, we sometimes, if we're not careful, keep ourselves in a state of perpetual agitation and fear. Doesn't help that, like today, there really are some rather significant risks to our health and safety, to the health and safety of the people we love. Here in Madison, like I said, we've had riots on and off since, well, really all summer. And with the addition of 20 or 30,000 new graduate and undergraduate students, the instances of COVID-19 and with all the concerns that brings, that's just going to be a reality. We're going to have a lot of more people in town, and so a lot more people are going to be at risk of being sick. And this, I think, is where faith becomes important, and the virtue of hope. Faith allows me to trust myself and the people I love, entrust myself and the people I love to God, and to understand that even if things are not what we would like, that somehow by God's grace there is a blessing to be found. But this isn't just about being upbeat and optimistic. It is rather faith is something which allows me to say that even when bad things happen, even when I suffer, that in the providence of God, they will be used for the good. That's faith. Hope is a little bit different. And we can understand, I think, hope by comparing it with despair. Despair says that tomorrow will look like today, and that today looks like yesterday. Despair looks at life as static. There is no change. There is nothing that will ever be different. It will just always be the same. Whether it will be monotonously the same or frighteningly the same doesn't really matter to the despairing person. It's just that there is no hope for change. And if there is no hope, if there's no possibility of change, there is no possibility of freedom. So our hope in Jesus Christ is not that things will turn out good or to our satisfaction, but that things will change, that this too will pass. This period of civil unrest and pandemic, this will pass. These things are not the whole of what it means for us to be human, to be citizens in this republic, to be Christians. These are important at the moment, to be sure, but they are not the whole story. And the problem is, I tend to want to make these things the whole story. Riots and pandemics, these are all that matter to me if I lose faith and hope. But if I have faith and hope, then I can look at these bad things without fear, evaluate them in a sober fashion, and say there are opportunities here for new sight, new vision, new life, new opportunities, but fundamentally that this too will pass. The late Catholic theologian Robert Novak, that was one of his favorite sayings, is that this too shall pass. Brothers and sisters in Christ, do you believe that all this will pass? Do you believe that the hard times that we're experiencing will pass, that the riots will pass, the civil unrest will pass, the pandemic will pass? Or have you fallen into the habit of thinking that this is all life will ever be, that it will simply be this unremittent, unpleasant time of civil strife and pandemic? I am a Christian. I believe that this will pass. What will come? Be better, be worse, probably a mix, but definitely different. And in that difference is found the opportunity for us to exercise our freedom and our creativity. So this too shall pass. And we'll see each other again in about a half hour at Vespers. So God bless all of you, and goodbye. Bye-bye.